Marco is easily the most violent Indian movie ever. Marco is less of an action entertainer and more an aesthetically deprived bloodfest that aims for the tightly contested spot of maximum body counts. Marco continues the trend in more brutal ways, and is a derivative, clumsy revenge saga that is kept alive by the beating heart of Marco's conviction in pulling of action set pieces. The film starts with the death of the younger heir to a crime family headed by George, and we get a peek into the machinations of an incoming gang war. The hero arrives on screen, ripping apart two dogs and soaked in dog blood emerging from a van, proclaiming proudly to the goons who kidnapped him, the up-and-coming generation of wannabe hip action filmmakers adopt the easy thrills, without offering the most foundational aspect that makes their work tick: emotional grounding. All the action, gore, and bloodshed in the world won't make a difference to the audiences if you don't give them that emotional catharsis that holds the most bizarre of screenwriting choices and solid grounding. Marco, on the other hand, with a similar setup of a stepbrother out to take revenge for the death of his sibling, is treated as a mere exercise in style. It is not interested in the psychology of what breeds the sort of fury that could drive the hero down such a hell ride. The quirky, unpredictable nature of the protagonist is limited to awkward exposition, delivered by kids in the family, intercut with Marco delivering stale one-liners. The female characters are sorry figures and outliers in director's vision for Marco, so they become the symbol of domesticity and civil society as the men go out and wreak havoc. There is a scene where his lover confesses to Marco that she saw him as a red flag and toxic individual from the very onset. The bizarre sequence tells you how much the film wants to posture itself as a piece of self-aware exercise in indulgence. Marco is the latest in a long list of films that make the horrendous mistake of foregrounding the aesthetics of hyperviolence as a means to an end. The end being wrongful, distasteful distraction from a premise that would crumble without the pretension of gnarly bloodshed. Midway through Marco, there is an action set piece reminiscent of the stair-wall action piece from the last installment of the John Wick franchise. There is thought and serious effort put into the one-shot conception of the action, which sees our hero punching, cutting, and piercing through rows of masked men on a never-ending flight of stairs, with the aim of reaching a captive. However, the handheld, messy camera work and staging of the visceral fight sequence is undercut by an abrupt revelation that undermines the purpose of the scene, and cuts a sorry figure of the hero with a quick cutaway to a scene that shows him doing the very thing that he was holding back from doing in the previous shot, in an entirely new setting. It's this kind of careless scene construction, where shock value is prioritized over narrative cogency, that makes Marco such a dull gore fest without any visceral payoffs for the amount of on-screen debauchery that the filmmakers indulge in. Marco is definitely not a total bummer, as the action choreography keeps it afloat. There is no denying the amount of work and effort that goes into pulling off these grimy, nauseatingly depraved ways to kill and injure characters on screen.